Hello, this is Donna Lewis again with the Clark County Park District, and today we are going to talk about what to do if you find a baby skunk. You're like, ew, a skunk? Yes, a skunk. Skunks, one of the biggest problems with skunks that drive people crazy is their smell. So, I mean, look at this cute little guy, okay? So he is colored like this, black and white, to warn predators like your dog, maybe your cat, although they've been seen eating with cats, and maybe you. They have this coloring to warn predators that they have something that you don't want to deal with, and that is their smell. It's not toxic to humans, it's very strong smell, but they're not dangerous animals. Now, sometimes skunks in some areas can have rabies, but it's very unlikely in most cases. So the best thing to protect yourself from that is just to not touch a wild skunk if you don't have to, especially not with bare hands. So these are very beneficial animals. They use these really long claws. Even this stuffed animal has some good claws here to show. So they use these long claws to dig for a lot of grubs like June beetles and other kinds of beetles and grubs that you don't want in your garden. You don't want them around your flowers, eating your flowers. You don't want them eating your crops. So skunks are actually very beneficial. A very cool animal, actually, is that they're the only animal that we have in Ohio that has this kind of defense system. So this is just a defense, and skunks won't use it unless they have to. So what if you find a baby with no mom? Most of the time you're going to see babies and moms together, okay? The baby follows that tail, all right? So that's what she or he is looking for as they travel. So they don't come out of the den for about 10 weeks. And so if you see a baby by itself walking around like this size, even bigger than this, it's probably something's happened to its mother. So what if you're taking out the trash one night? You know, they are nocturnal, so they're going to be out at night, and you see a little baby by itself. You're like, that doesn't seem normal. Or you're in the park, or you're at a parking lot somewhere shopping, and you see a baby skunk foraging by itself. It's probably lost its mom. So a baby skunk is never without its mom. Something must have happened to her if you find a small one. So even ones a little bit bigger than this are usually not found on their own, all right? So if you don't really see them leaving you, especially when you get too close, there's probably something going on. Now, remember, baby skunks still have the ability to spray. Now, before a skunk sprays you, it's going to stomp, all right, and raise its tail. It's going to try to get you to go away before it sprays. It doesn't have a lot of spray that comes back so easily, so it's not going to use it unless it really has to. So remember, it really takes a lot for these guys to spray, and that's what our dogs sometimes don't learn. So very important to realize, first of all, when you find a skunk, a baby skunk, that they can spray. So what if you do get sprayed? You're trying to help this baby. We'll talk about how to help it in a minute, and you get sprayed. So here's the solution, all right? So 4 cups hydrogen peroxide, 3%, a 1/4 cup of baking soda, and 1 tablespoon, I say Dawn, because Dawn is a really safe, good dishwashing liquid to use. So you're gonna mix that together and use that to wash your dog. Maybe you have to soak some clothes. So this is a good solution, not tomato juice. Okay, so this is a solution you want to use. Now, back to my notes here. So you found this skunk. What to do? I mean, you know it can spray, okay? So what you want to do, and I've done this before myself. I'm not telling you things that I've not done when I do these videos. Most of the time I have experienced doing this. So you're going to get a 5-gallon bucket. So you're just going to get a 5-gallon bucket. Make sure it's kind of cleaned out, or a tote with holes in it, you know, a storage tote with holes, and a towel. Preferably a towel that you probably don't want to use again, or that you're willing to give up, or a sheet, something like that. So you're going to cover the baby, making sure you tuck its tail. So when you pick that baby up, a lot of times it's not going to see you coming. The thing with these guys is they have a really good sense of smell. Their eyesight is not so good. So when I came up to help some skunks one day, they were just, you know, foraging down there in the dirt. didn't even see me until it was too late. So I picked it up, making sure to tuck its tail under so it couldn't spray, and I put it in the bucket. So put it in the container, put it in a safe, quiet spot, and call a wildlife rehabilitator. So you can find wildlife rehabilitators on OWA.org. That's the Ohio Wildlife Rehabilitators Association. There's also the National Wildlife Rehabilitators Association that you can call, and you can find a rehabber in your area. Even if you're not from Ohio, there's a national database of rehabbers. So you should be able to find somebody. If you ever just have questions, and you can ask Bruckner Nature Center in Troy. You can also call us at 937-882-6000 or email me at dlewis@clarkcountyparks.org. And I'd be happy to answer your questions. A lot of times when you're having an issue with the skunk, which I'm going to cover in another video, there's simple things you can do. A lot of times it's just leaving them alone. Sometimes, you know, with the babies, when they're by themselves, mom probably is gone, but a lot of times with the adults, it's just leaving them alone. So basically you want to get that baby into a container and call a wildlife rehabilitator, okay? So you don't want to try to feed it on your own. If it looks big enough to munch on some stuff and it looks really hungry, skunks will eat a lot of veggies and fruit, okay? Cat food. So you can give them something, tuna cat food, some fruits and veggies, you know, just to give them a little hand until you get a hold of a rehabilitator, all right? Most of the time, they are going to stink up the area that you've put them in. So put them in a safe area that's not too hot, not too cold. This time of year just be too hot. And realize there is going to be a little bit of a smell, so maybe even the shade outside somewhere for the time being until you get a hold of someone, making sure that predators can't get to it. Now, most of the time, fortunately for these guys, predators don't mess with them a lot because of the smell. But large birds will because they cannot smell. So just make sure you put them in a safe spot. Also remember, the way that these babies usually lose their mothers is because a lot of times humans hit them on the road. They relocate mom, not thinking about that she might have babies. So you don't want to relocate a skunk or any other wild animal, as they may leave babies behind. And that's why the Division of Wildlife, like the Ohio Division of Wildlife, has made rules to not move wildlife, because you may be leaving babies behind and you may be putting them in a place that has too many of that species already. So, a mother skunk relocated, even with her babies, may be so stressed that she will abandon her babies. So it's very extreme situations when animals do actually abandon them. Mostly if you find a baby animal that needs help, it's not because mom has abandoned it, but something has usually happened to her. So it's important to try to get mom to move on her own, or just wait it out so the babies aren't abandoned. And I'm going to cover that in another segment on skunks. So baby skunks are nursed in the den for about 6 weeks before joining their mom on trips outside the den. So we can give them that time, right? So if you do have a skunk under your shed or deck, just give them a little bit of time. And once mom is out with those babies, she's going to leave that den area. They usually only use those to raise their young. Now, and remember also that these skunks are super beneficial to us because they eat a lot of bugs that we don't want around, all right? So I have a cute little prize pack for anybody that watches this video and sends me a comment on something you learned, maybe an experience you had with a skunk. Let me know, all right? And your kid can win a cute little prize pack for learning about skunks. All right, join me next time. I'm going to talk about what to do if you do have a skunk under your den or your deck. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.